on the skis and it didn't really work. So I had those skis.
You probably thrashed them.
I'm sure I did. I had those skis for a while actually, but yeah, those were and then they actually a couple years, maybe it was the next year or the year after, they actually did buy me like skis and boots and the whole deal, and that was it.
And didn't they say this is the last time?
They said this is the only time. That was the deal, like, because it was so expensive, because everything was expensive at that point, and they were like, yeah, we're going to do this once. And so they bought me the whole setup, and then they're like, from here on out, you're on your own. And that was at like 13, maybe 14. So from there on out, that's why I got into the ski industry, because I literally had to pay for all my own ski stuff.
I didn't know that. Like, that was the only time they bought you skis.
One time.
Yeah, that's crazy. Especially for, like, how much... It's like thinking about it, like, how much, like, you guys have bought us skis. Like, if you would have just been like, oh, we're buying you one pair.
God, they're spoiled.
Yeah. Okay, what was your...
Well, part of it is because I think, probably part of that is because I was, like literally had to do it myself. So for us, it was cool to be able to provide it and not have to, because that's all what we did, too. The difference is, nobody in my family skied. My dad didn't ski. My dad would literally drive me to the ski area and drop me off. And
or remember, he would drive you out to the corner and make you hitchhike.
I'd hitchhike too as a kid. Like, so there would be times at like 15, 14 before I could drive. He would just drop me off on the corner and I would hitchhike. So that was like the difference, because my parent, like, nobody in my family skied. And they still don't. And so, like, for them, it wasn't a driver. Where I think for our family, it's like what we've always done. So I think for us, it was a lot different to be able to provide equipment for you guys so we could all do it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
What was your guys' life like during your high school age?
Go ahead, Joel.
Yeah. I want the juicy stuff.
Oh, no. Let's see. So, the summer after 8th grade, is your phone going to be able to record for this long?
Yeah, I deleted a bunch.
Okay. The summer after 8th grade...
When is it going to delete? When does it stop recording?
We moved from California to New Hampshire, and that was the same year that both of my brothers were away at school. And as I said before, I was really, really close to my brother, so that was hard, and then moving across the country was really hard. And also, because of the public school situation there, I went to a private Catholic school, which was, I always think it was like being put on a different planet, coming from the San Francisco Bay Area, where it's very multicultural, and I wouldn't even say that it was necessarily liberal at that point. It was just very different. And then coming from the public school system in San Francisco, and then going to a private Catholic school on the East Coast, where it's very conservative and everybody was Catholic, and I had to go to confession once a week, and I had to go to Mass every Friday morning and every Sunday. And so that was a really hard time for me, but it ended up being kind of a blessing, because they had a ski team, and they were like the best private school race team on the East Coast. So I started racing, and that's kind of what kept me going there. And I made friends and learned to be a really good skier on the East Coast ice. And we would train every day after school. There was a little ski area across the street from the school, and we had ski lockers. And so all of that was really, really cool. Like, I'm so glad, even though it was really hard, I'm really glad that I had that experience. And then kind of like once I started really liking it there and was in my groove, my parents were like, hey, we're moving back to San Francisco. And I was like, yay, oh, kind of bummed.
Yeah.
But it was, and so then my junior and senior year, we moved back to the town that I was living in previously, which was, I was excited about it. I got to go back and be with all my friends. So then I got to go back to California and finish out high school there. And there was no ski team, but I kept skiing, and I had a lot of friends that skied, and so we would drive to Tahoe on the weekends and ski. And yeah, that's it.
High school career, I was not the best student in high school, only because I really didn't put the effort in. I never felt like I was dumb. I just never really tried that hard. And once I got to college, got great grades, but in high school I didn't really try, and so didn't really ever have great grades, which looking back on it now was probably not the smartest thing that I could have done, but it is what it is. Like, my dad was a teacher at my high school too, so like I had that going as well. But I had a lot of friends in high school that, I had known kind of before high school, met a bunch of new ones in high school. Loved playing on the golf team when I was there. Loved playing soccer. We played a ton of soccer. I grew up playing soccer, before then, on like a traveling team, I guess we called it. We lived in the mountains, so we had to go to the valley, down in the valley, to go play soccer. So when I got older, we used to travel down there to do that. Our high school team was district champions for 4 years in a row that I was there, so that was always a lot of fun. And we played. We always once we got out of districts, we always got beat pretty quick. But it was always once we got down into the valleys. But in the mountains, we were really good. Same in golf. We used to win districts and all that, and then I'd go play golf in the valley, and it was a whole different deal. So, but I was there in high school for all 4 years with the same folks. Starting my junior year, in the wintertime, my friend Clint and I skied almost every day. We would leave school at lunch and go to the mountain because we were on the ski team.
You were on the work study too.
Right, so we were on the ski team at the resort, so part of our PE was to go ski, and then I also worked there and was on a work program, so I also got to go up there and work. So basically every day at lunch we would leave and just go ski every day. So that was always super fun, and Clint and I had a lot of great years doing that. And yeah, I think that's it in a nutshell.
How did you guys choose where you wanted to go to college?
I can actually tell you that my parents were surprised when I told them I wanted to go to college. They kind of were like, "What? Are you kidding me?" For the grades you got in high school. So when my mom worked at the junior college in Sonora, which was down a ways from where I grew up. She worked there, and they were having a school fair, and she had seen Sierra Nevada College before. And so when I finally was a senior and was looking for schools, I went there and found that I could get a business degree with an emphasis in ski business. And so I figured if I could keep going to school and keep doing what I was doing, I was all about it. But because of my grades in high school, my parents said they wouldn't send me there for 4 years. So I had to go to junior college for 2 and kind of take care of all my, normal classes and whatnot. Because at that time, junior college in California was cheap. It was $5 a unit cheap. I mean, it was really good. So I had to go to 2 years of junior college and prove that I, could get decent grades. And that was then kind of the indicator that I could go to 2 more years to get my 4-year degree. So, and that's what I did.
In my family, it was expected that you would go to college. There was never any question. I probably should have done something else for a couple years, and then what's that noise? And then have gone.
Okay.
Sorry, it keeps pausing.
Oh. I didn't say anything.
Okay. So there was the expectation, and kind of the high school that I went to, 100% of the kids went to college and all went to very good schools. I was a really good student my first 2 years of high school, and then my second 2 years I didn't do so well. So I didn't have a lot of options. I went away for the first year, and then I came home for the second year, and then I went to Tahoe. My mom, kind of the same thing. My mom found Sierra Nevada College and was like, you need to look at the school. It's a school in Tahoe. I think you'll really like it. And I was like, And she was like, no, I think it would be a really good fit for you. And she was right. It was a great fit.
Mm-hmm. How did you and Dad meet? Or how'd you guys meet? Like, both your perspective on it.
We met in class at Sierra Nevada College. It was our Wednesday night marketing class. And, yeah, we
tell her how I got your attention.
Well, I had noticed you before, and I remember my roommate, we kept trying to figure out what Dad's name was for the longest time. And then we finally figured out that he lived in Kings Beach with his friends. And then we figured out which truck he drove. And we would watch it drive by our house because our house was right by the campus. And she was like, that was him. And then we looked up their, you don't know this, but we looked up their number in the phone book. And then we used to call and hang up. And she'd be like, yeah, that's them. I mean, we didn't have cell phones or anything, no social media. That wasn't even anything in anyone's, there wasn't even email when we were in college. Was there email?
Not for us. I'm sure there was email.
Like within a business.
Yeah.
So, and then, so we were in class together. And I remember, Dad would, I always have a hard time talking in group settings. Mm-hmm. And I can remember Dad just, sitting there and just, hands on his head and just, lean back and just talking to the professor. And, everyone's, there's, 30 people in his class and everyone's in a big U. And he's just, talking. I'm like, what is this dude's deal? Mr. Casual. He didn't even think anything about it. And so I was just kind of like, what? And then I guess, then we kind of started talking a little bit. And then one night he sat next to me in class. And again, he was leaning back with his hands on his head. And he fell over backwards in his chair. And so, yeah, and then...
Ass over tea kettle.
Yeah. And